07 Distractions, very nice. Yes, I approve of that, Carl. Good choice there. Now, Steve.
Yes.
Carl came round to my flat.
Mm.
It was Tuesday night, wasn't it?
Nice place.
Now, thanks. Now, last week after the show, I think you guys were, in the time you were in the toilet, like, Carl got out the lottery, ticket that he bought. He went, I'm feeling really confident tonight.
Right.
He's going, I laughed. He went, no, seriously. He said, look at the numbers. And I looked at them, and I think they were 4, 6, 8, 20, 36, 48, weren't they? He's going, I just got a feeling about those, I wasn't sure. He went, although, you know, my girlfriend said that, you know, if I won the lottery, we'd probably split up, because we like such different things, meaning she likes to travel, and he doesn't. And so he said, so what I said was, well, if I win, then I won't tell you. I'll just treat you a little bit more. Brilliant.
That's brilliant logic.
That is great. Anyway.
I'll look after her.
Oh, I imagine you take care of her, yeah. Yeah, you're a good guy. How would you do it then? You just sneak little gifts in, slowly over many years?
Yeah.
You don't think she'd rumble the fact that you, like, don't work anymore and drive a Lamborghini?
Well, I'd still do this, I think.
What, just, like, as a kind of beard, as a cover story?
Yeah, just
So you'd pretend to come to work, but maybe off partying and stuff in the daytime?
Yeah.
Clever.
Now, he didn't win.
Okay.
I phoned him up Saturday night, he went, one number. One number. I think it was 8, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, there was a lot of 8s on my piece of paper, wasn't there? So I think it was either an 8 or an 18 or a 48.
And he went, and he was disappointed. He said, waste of time. I went, well, he said, no, waste of time. He said, I've worked it out. I went, go on. He went, there are 26 letters in the alphabet. I went, yeah. He went, think how many words you can make out of them. He went, there are 48 numbers on the lottery. I went, yeah, 60 million to 1. He went, yeah. Not worth it.
I looked into that in the week, right? And there's even less letters in the Welsh alphabet. They've only got 20, and yet they've got loads of words as well. So even 20, the chances, if there was 20 numbers and you had to pick 6 winners, it'd still be really
unlikely.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should be a mathematician. And anyway, so we got talking about it. We got talking. That was me, him, and Jane around there. And I told Jane that he said about, if you won the lottery, no, he doesn't like travel. And she went, why do you like travelling? And he went, well, I don't like planes. I'm really scared of planes and that. And she went, well, if you won the lottery, you could have a world cruise. And he went, no. She went, you don't fancy it? I went, no. He said, if you go on a world cruise, what do you do next year?
Oh,
Genius.
it's brilliant logic, Carl.
It's
but
great.
you know on the world cruise you don't actually see the whole world. I mean, you...
And if you did, it's not like saying, well, I don't want to see that twice. Do you know what I mean?
The world.
It is the world. It's a lot. It's a lot to see. And
Did it never dawn on you before about the numbers in the lottery? Have you been playing this for years and thinking that you had a good chance? That it was just like you and a handful of other people that were doing it?
Just as much chance as everyone else, but then when you actually sit down and think about
Sure.
what you're doing.
He's done it again this week.
Tough one.
He went off doing it one more time, and he showed me the numbers, and he went, they look a bit more healthy, don't they? Oh.
What numbers are you going for this week?
It's alright laughing, but we'll see tonight.
Yeah.
Go on then.
So look.
You know, if people do this and they win, if you take these out and people do these, you'll have to share it with someone. It's alright though, isn't it? Give them a chance. Tell them give people a clue. What numbers are you doing, Carl?
No, I'm not going to tell them all. I'll give you 4. I've got 5, 9, 12, and 26.
Okay.
You're not going to give us the other 2?
No, because that's a big difference, isn't it?
What are the...
4's worth about 8 grand in it, but if I give him the other 2 and it wins.
Yeah. What are those 4 numbers again?
5, 9, 12, 26.
Also, coming up is Carl's GCSE results. He took them in 1988, I think.
Was it?
And we've phoned his score, we tracked him down. We've got Carl's GCSE, what did I say?
How many did you get, Rick?
Clinic, walking with thee. Sorry about that earlier. You know, I like to keep a tight, slick ship, and that lets us all down, doesn't it? When something goes wrong with the shoddy equipment in this place.
Mm.
Why don't you buy some new stuff? You must be earning a bit of money now, wasn't you? We got a few listeners now. We get adverts, don't we? Why don't they just buy a new CD player? You can go down to Richer Sounds and get one for 50 quid.
I don't know. Because I suppose when you're starting off, you save the money you make first before you spend it.
Go down Record and Tape Exchange, take all the 4 non-blondes and excess stuff you've got.
At the record library.
You'll be able to get an old CD player.
25 minutes this week it took.
Well,
Before the 4 non-blondes obligatory mention.
I think we should make that some sort of call in to win feature.
Carl, are we using the equipment that you used to use when you had Pilkey's Making Music, the DJ outfit that you
I
and your mate
love
ran?
that. That was Karl Pilkington and someone making. What was it?
Colin Making.
Colin Making. Pilkey's Making Music.
Genius. Are
That's
we using
right.
that same equipment?
Did you earn any money?
I paid for the tube lights and that. I sort of covered my costs.
Did you? Did
then
you pay
gave
tax
up.
on that?
And then, no.
Oh.
Oh, that's what they get Al Capone on, isn't it?
It is, yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. Don't worry about the music policy. We're sorting that out. We got some Verve coming up. We got some Jimmy Webb. We got some Nick Cave. We got some Amy Mann. We got some Travis Corner Shop. You know what I mean? We're sorting
some
ourselves
big names
out.
there. Some big names
We haven't started yet. We're just starting, getting going. We got Carl's GCSE result.
Let's just do it now.
Should we do it now?
Well, I think we should have a White Van Man session.
Oh, White Van
Because I
Man
think people tune in for the White Van Man
Yeah,
session.
people who haven't
Carl.
tuned in, they don't know.
If people aren't familiar with this, The Sun runs a column every day which is asking some punter from the street their views on the week's big events, and we just thought, why not hijack that idea, but apply it to Karl Pilkington.
I
Carl,
haven't seen much news again this week.
you've not seen much news. Don't worry, I'm sure you have an opinion on
Just
it anyway.
give us it from your heart.
So Gladiator.
Okay, so, well, on the subject of Gladiator, what do you make of Russell Crowe's appalling behaviour at the BAFTAs?
This is, I heard a bit about this. This is, when he got some director or something, because...
Director or producer and threatened them because they cut his bit, didn't they?
They cut a poem that he'd done during the
See-
acceptance speech.
I watched it on Sunday night.
Sure.
I didn't realise it wasn't live, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I quite liked the way it was to the point and didn't mess about. He went up, he said thanks.
So you're saying that he shouldn't have beaten up the director? Is that what you're basically saying?
It's a bit over the top.
You thought
I
so?
mean, if you didn't have time, if you really, I mean, what's the poem got to do with the film anyway? He was an awards.
So do you
for a
think it's
film.
ever justified to beat up a TV director if you're a major Hollywood star?
Depends what he's done, but I mean,
Right, what would he have to have done, Carl, for it to be fine for him to then beat him up?
the thing is, right? Forget all the beating up. At the end of the day, it was a awards thing for a film. The poem had nothing to do with the film.
Yeah.
So go up, collect your award for that thing. And if he really, really wanted people to hear about this poem, he could have photocopied it and
Sure.
left it at the entrance and said, on your way out, this is a really nice poem, pick one up.
No, but the thing is, he knew it was televised, so he knew by saying that poem once, he was reaching 5 million people. That's a lot of photocopies. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not
Yeah,
saying
but
he was justified.
It wasn't a poem award. If it was an award show for poems, you'd say you can't cut it out. It'd be like doing the top 40 and then going, number one's good, but we haven't got time for it. But it's a films thing.
Okay.
And he went up and he got the award for the film. Which film was it for?
I don't know, but when I wanted to give you results, I said, let's give Carl his results. Steve went, no, we should introduce people to Carl again, just remind people what Carl's like. And he's so right. I'm so glad we did this first.
Am I right, though? Or am I
Carry on,
wrong?
Steve.
Okay, the next topic, what about this big debate over whether Kylie Minogue's had a bum job?
I'd have to see it.
Next.
Okay. What do you make of Will Young's single? He's the Pop Idol winner. It's going to net record-breaking sales, apparently. It's going to go straight to #1. He's had millions of copies sold.
I heard last week that you had to, if you wanted to buy it from Woolworths, you had to go in and put £1 down to guarantee you getting a copy.
Wow.
I think that's stupid.
But what do you make of it, though? Do you think...
What, as a song?
both as a song, and are you excited about Will Young and his future?
No, he'll do alright. I don't think we have to worry about him.
Okay.
He'll do alright. It's not my thing, but he seems like a nice bloke.
Okay,
Good.
very good.
One
What do you
final
make?
one?
Yeah, one final one then. What do you make of our scientists getting the go-ahead to clone embryos for research? We have discussed cloning before, and obviously there's the pros and cons of that. Christopher Reeve, former Superman star, he's behind this. Are you behind him?
Yeah. I mean, with everything, you have your good and your bad, don't you?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you didn't have bad things in the world, then you wouldn't enjoy the good things. I think, it's like if you didn't have robbers in the world, policemen wouldn't have a job. So it's the same thing. It's like, it's an illness. Yeah. What are they messing with?
It's probably a bit too detailed to go into there, really, but,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's good and bad. You can't have it all.
Yin and yang is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, Carl, I can't argue with that, mate.
I want to play a track now that I haven't heard for a while. It's the Verve, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sonnet. Lovely song.
Coming soon, those big exam results.
Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, spread your love. It's time to give Karl... You're actually nervous, aren't you? I'm a little bit nervous. Just to recap, Karl is 30 this year. He never went to get his results of his GCSEs. So myself and Steve took upon ourselves to phone his school, track them down, and we actually got your results. What did you think you took?
Did English,
Right.
maths,
Yeah.
art,
Right.
and I think I did physics.
Okay. Well, you didn't do any of them.
Eh?
You didn't do any of them. You didn't register. You registered for one exam and took one exam and got results for one exam. So I don't know what you thought you were turning up to, or you weren't registered, or you didn't.
You're familiar with the notion of registering for an exam. You have to kind of officially register in order to be eligible.
What do you mean, register? I turned up for a couple.
Yeah, you can't
Yeah.
just show up. You have to register for them.
You have
do you-
to pay this because it costs the school money, so they have had to have paid for you if they thought you were going to pass. You can't just turn up on the day and ask for some paper at the front.
I never got a letter telling me that.
Well, that's because you were never at school.
But you did somehow register or registered for one exam. You registered for history.
It's a topic that you've always been interested in.
Oh, I was saying to Ricky before, World War II, I loved it.
Not the actual event.
No,
the
but
study
just
of it.
all
You
the
mean?
stuff like, about the Anderson shelters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the bombs and that.
Mhm.
And then when I took it, it had nothing to do with that. It was more about the Tudors.
So the Second World War didn't come up. You mean there was no questions about the Anderson shelters?
Nothing.
That's devastating.
So,
So what are you expecting the result to be?
is that it?
Yeah, it's the only one you took and registered.
As far
for.
as the school is concerned, or
Yeah.
certainly in
Well, it's the
terms
only
of
one
what
that
they told
counts.
us.
It's the only result. It's the only one that counts. Yeah, you've got.
I don't... Did you register for yours?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have. Yeah, I've got certificates and everything.
So what... Do you do that before the exam? Do you have to go somewhere and sign something, or...
Yeah, you don't check your results and then decide if you want to register. It's not like Millionaire when you look at the question and go, I think I'll take the money.
Yeah.
You go.
no.
But anyway, you must have registered for one, or maybe your teacher put you in for
I
it.
didn't do it. So
They must have
someone
been
else
confident.
registered
They
for
must
me.
have been confident. They must have thought your best bet was history.
Right, so... What did they get?
You got an E. Which I think, technically, is a pass.
E.
It's a bad pass, but there's F,
How
and there's
much
I
U.
mean, you're not going to be doing a PhD.
You can get an F, right, which is fail, and then a U, which is ungraded. Now, I don't know why the U exists, because F means you failed. U is like them going, you not only failed, but you wasted my time.
So...
We're annoyed
Yeah,
that you took
yeah.
this exam.
So who thought they'd register me to get an E?
well, they didn't.
Well, they
think
didn't.
you'd
I
get
think
any.
they were hoping. It was rather like you with the lottery. They were hoping
see-
for something better than
You
nothing.
see, I assume that the man who registered for that thought he can scrape an E if Anderson shout was come up.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. You've got. Now, what I'd like to do, Karl, is I've started your re-education. You've read a book on Rasputin. I'll be asking you a few questions about that later. I've got another book for you to read next week. Next week, I've got a
I'm
little.
not in the mood.
What?
Not in the mood.
Oh, come on! Look, what's that? What does that say?
It's that fella. It's the picture of the bloke that he used to use for Citizen Smith.
Yeah, Che Guevara.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was quite happy, I think, when he found out that Robert Lindsay was involved. He went, yeah, of course you can. No worries, yeah.
What
So-
are your feelings, Carl? What
do you think? Are you
emotions
depressed?
I'm just a bit annoyed because I'm sure I turned up for more, so it just wasted me time.
Listen, they don't matter.
I'm sure I
you're
did
doing
more
you're
than
doing
one.
very well. You know you can educate yourself. GCSEs are merely a step on the ladder to help you, not just for education, but they're more vocational than anything else. You're doing very well, and you're reading books. Don't worry about it. But
It's
can I
not a
suggest
concern.
something? But if you want, I'll pay for you to take history again.
Carl, we'd love to see you get a C or above. And
Right,
we're
I'll
willing
pay
to...
for you, and I'll get you some books. Right, now listen. We can, let's get, I reckon, when are the exams? June?
Something like that, yeah.
We'll try and register next week, and I reckon you can get an A or B.
In history.
I'm
In
busy.
history. No, don't worry about it, it's just easy. You get your Brody's notes. If Heat magazine, they love you, Carl. They could probably sort something out. They could probably pay for a tutor. They got a lot of money, they sell a lot of magazines.
I mean, it is always, almost always, and you found that out, I discovered this, it's always the Tudors and Stuarts. There's no fear for that, them not coming up. Now, what do you already know about them? You must already know stuff about Henry VIII and Elizabeth.
No, because it's too long ago to even get interested in. Do you know what I mean? You can't
Is that why you
relate
didn't-
to it.
Okay.
The Anderson thing, it was like, God, I bet my mum and dad were in an Anderson shelter. This is interesting.
What, when they...
Oh, my granddad would have had something to do with this. But the Tudors, it's like, I don't know even if they had a family back then.
Play a record! If we come back
Hang
to
on,
this.
hang
Sorry,
on, hang on,
Steve,
because I need to introduce the new feature.
Yeah,
For the
I
record.
don't know if I had a family back then.
Carl,
You're a
listen, let
genius,
me just
Carl.
ask you now, right? If you can finish this sentence, we've got a chance. Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded.
Died. What is it?
We just need to do a little bit of work, but otherwise I think you're going to be fine. It's how you remember what happened to Henry VIII's wives.
They're little...
Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded.
It's like spam. Support... What's it? Support, protection, anchorage, movement. That's how
You're going to that's nothing to do with the Tudors
No,
and
that's to
Stuarts.
do with the skeleton.
Yeah, see, no, we're not doing biology.
Mnemonics and acronyms and...
What happened to Henry VIII's last wife? Did she die, or did she not die? Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded.
Do you know that the only king that has got a moustache is... No. The only king that hasn't got a moustache is the King of Hearts on the playing cards.
What's the record you're going to play?
I want to resurrect the career of a different artist each week. This is an artist who's overlooked by the general public.
It's a red card.
This is Amy Mann, and she always seems to get overlooked. This was a single a while back. I
Women's
think
got
it's
one
called
eye.
Red Vines. Play it, Carl.
Fantastic.
You see, what upsets me is the way that Amy Mann,
Yeah.
she's written songs as good as that, she's
Yeah.
released it as a single, she had to, I think, put the album from which that's taken out by herself over the internet. She was Oscar nominated
Yeah.
for the songs in the film Magnolia. She couldn't get a record label, I don't know if she's now got one. And yet there's people like Alanis Morissette shifting
That is
shed
absolutely
loads of
beautiful.
songs. I don't
That is
understand what the
fantastic.
rules are. I don't know why she's
See,
not a household
Carl,
name.
well, there's
What-
beautiful things like that in the world. Why do you care about epoxy,
Well,
GCSE?
what did she get for history?
What did she get for history?
Yeah.
I think she did very poorly.
Why do you care? See, I was just going to say, this has backfired a little bit, because Carl is genuinely, I don't know if he's actually upset or embarrassed, but it doesn't matter. Why does it matter? You were 15 and didn't go to school.
If you were my friends, I think you would have just said, "Oh, we can't find them."
Why?
Because
you
it
just
doesn't
wanted
matter
to
what
know.
to do with that?
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean? It's ridiculous. Do it again because you want to learn, because there's great things in the world to learn about. Don't worry. The GCSE is vocational. Is vocationally for a 15, 16-year-old to go on to do A levels or whatever, or to get results. But you don't need that because you've done very well. You don't care about the Tudors and the Stuarts. I mean,
I mean, I've had a couple of jobs, not this one, because you don't need qualifications to get a job
obviously.
here.
In the radio station.
Yeah.
Obviously,
You're
it's
absolutely right.
But
Yeah.
ones that I have got in the past, I did, because I didn't collect them, I had to lie. And I didn't like go mad. I didn't say I had A's and stuff. But I didn't put history down because I didn't even know I did it. But, like,
So it's a
physics,
bonus.
I kind of treated myself to like a D and a couple of C's and that. So it's like, well, he's not.
I love the fact that Carl even then was honourable. It's like, I'll at least put down the ones I think I took and lie, but the ones I didn't take, I won't lie about.
Yeah, and don't give yourself a B. If they're going to find out you lied, give yourself a B
No, well,
next time,
it could
Carl.
backfire, couldn't it? I mean, my brother's a bit mental, and he used to do things like go for jobs and say, "Oh yeah, I've done this before," like being a mechanic, and he's never even picked up a spanner, and yet he'd have the confidence to go and try and fix cars. Well, I'm not that daft, but God, and he.
Who do you blame for this?
That's just an easy way out. I have to blame myself. Don't I?
Yeah.
What was the
Well-
teacher like?
Well, there's loads of different ones. I didn't like. I mean, the history teacher, it is my own fault because with her, she was a bit mental, and I used to kind of stop the lesson by saying, "Oh, miss, tell us about your fireplace you've got that is made from a gravestone." Because that's what
That
she
would
had.
stop any English teacher in their tracks.
And she loved telling you about it.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh,
I learned
brilliant.
that from a teacher.
So that's why
too.
I didn't know about divorce, head loss, and all that.
Yeah.
Dandruff legs.
Because-
Horse, head loss, dandruff legs.
But remember now, divorce beheaded died, divorce beheaded survived. That's all you got to remember.
And what's that?
That's what happened to Henry VIII's various
In order.
wives. In order.
What does it spell out?
No, it doesn't spell out
Doesn't spell anything, you just
it's
gotta
saying
remember
it.
the rhythm.
In order in which he married.
Yeah, but it helps. It's like when my mum taught me the alphabet. She taught me as like a song.
A,
And like
B, C,
consonant-
D, E, F, G.
Yeah, constantly. No, not like that.
Huh.
That's how everyone else could do it, and I couldn't do it that way.
Right.
What
That
tune did she
A,
do
B,
it to?
C, D. It was A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
Dandy Warhols, Get Off on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais. With me, Steve Merchant.
Hello.
It's 2:05 on the day that Karl, our producer, found out that he had an E in history, GCSE, and nothing else because he didn't actually register. I can't believe he registered for that. I don't know.
I didn't. That's
Someone
the
else put
thing.
you in. They can't have put you in because you were away. They probably said, oh, you didn't register in that. Listen, obviously you're feeling a little bit melancholy because it's like you're hearing it for the first time, so it's like you're 16 again. But it was to be expected. But
No,
listen,
like
it doesn't
say
matter.
that-
It
no,
actually
it
doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
But listen. Take it again. For your just. Is there a history teacher listening? What's the number? 08700 800 123. They can tell us the syllabus this year. 1, 2,
Start
3,
number
4, is
again.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. What is it?
08700.
I've got maths. 08700 800
800
1234. Mine's more laziness that I couldn't be bothered to say that last digit.
Yeah.
Really. I've done most of the work.
If we get onto your problems, then we're going to be, it's a whole other show.
It doesn't matter really, because like you say, right, I've done alright for myself.
Yeah.
It's that old thing of like, when you get older, if you find out that your dad's not your dad, it's like, it doesn't matter, he was a dad to me.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Are you saying Mr. Nuttall wasn't your real teacher?
Give out the number again, Rick, what we after?
08700 800 1234. Is
No
there a
one's gonna
history
want to teach
teacher
me.
out there that may know how we can... Is he too late to register this time?
What's
Do we
the
have to
syllabus
pay for
this
it?
year?
What's the syllabus this year? Do we have to pay for it? And does he want to earn, like, 25 quid cash in hand to give Karl a couple of lessons? I'll stump that up. Take it, yeah? Be great, be fantastic.
they probably won't want to do it though.
We'd
It's that
film
thing,
it.
isn't
It'd be a documentary on choice. Heat magazine be right behind it. There'd be, little clues. We could have a little question and answer, little quizzes. You know what I mean? Be
Rick,
great.
before we play the next record, I've just been looking through the XFM gig guide, and I just wanted to let you know that at Spitz this evening, Commercial Street E1, doors at 8 o'clock, Gut Bucket are playing. So, no, just a lot of listeners will probably want to know that. So I don't want anyone to miss out on the Gut Bucket gig at Spitz tonight, Commercial Street
Brilliant,
E1.
that's a good plug for the Gut Bucket boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage.
Now, Steve just played one of the most beautiful records. I mean, so I've got to up the ante here, and I'm gonna play another Jimmy Webb track. I played it off 10 Easy Pieces last week, and I have played this track before, but a different version. You'll know it, obviously better by Glenn Campbell. He wrote a lot of songs for Glenn Campbell, and this is Galveston, and this is absolutely beautiful. Jimmy Webb there, and Galveston. See, and during that, Karl said, "What's this about?" Didn't you? See, things you're interested in. You see, if only you're that inquisitive when the Tudors and Stuarts came up, you'd have a C or
So
a
we didn't
B,
even do Stuarts.
didn't you?
It's just Tudors.
Oh, they're the worst, aren't they? Stuarts, I've got a lot of time for. The Tudors can, you know what I mean? Listen, right. As you know, I lent Karl, part of his education, his historical education, I lent Karl Gladiator, the movie, on DVD, which he watched on his PlayStation 2, and Rasputin.
Do you know last week when you gave me this, did you know my result for history?
No.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yep. Now, right, okay, it's the film review. Carl, you just tell it from the heart. Tell us what you thought about the film, what you thought the...
Can I just ask, is this the first time you'd seen Gladiator? You'd never seen it before?
No.
Okay. And what were your thoughts?
Okay. The film review.
Gladiator.
It's alright. Nothing great. It's like an old, sort of an old version of Rocky done in the olden days, really.
Right.
A bloke fighting other people.
Sure.
How sort of well known is the story? Do you reckon people know the basics?
Well, just very quickly, just do the plot.
Quickly. There's a guy called Max.
Maximus, yeah.
Yeah. There's Caesar, and there's Caesar's kid, and Max goes to war, sort of wins it, comes back. Caesar says, you're good at what you do. I wish my son was as good as you. So I want you to be in charge when I die. His kid finds out, bit annoyed about it, kills his dad, because he don't want anyone to hear that he said that he wants him to be in charge.
Yeah.
So his kid gets in charge and thinks, I'll show you. You're not going to be king, I am. You're going to be a slave or something. And then, next thing you see is...
Sorry, can I just stop there? My only thought is the film's 3 hours long, so maybe we shouldn't go through the whole plot.
We've done the first 10 minutes, but
Yeah.
go on. So, yeah, he's a slave, and then...
Yeah, but then, that was an interesting bit that I thought, right? I mean, I was watching this with a girlfriend, she was already annoyed because she wanted to watch Friends on E4.
Okay.
So...
Yeah. It was a good episode as well this week.
Was it?
Yeah.
Don't tell her that.
Okay.
Right, so she was annoyed and she said, come on then, put it on. And I got it wrong straight away because it says on the back 149, so I thought that was an hour and 49 minutes. It turned out it was 149. No, I thought it was 1 hour 49.
Yeah.
But it was 149 minutes.
Sure.
So it overran anyway.
By 40 minutes.
Yeah. So anyway, the interesting bit was where he was going across the desert on a horse. And I think to show you how long he'd been going across the desert on his horse, he's showing you a shot of the horse's knees and they were bleeding. And I just wondered whether that's what horses do if they run for a long time. Do you know?
I don't. Good.
Right, so anyway, so it goes on, it keeps going on like this. He's a slave, and then he has a fight at the end with the Caesar's kid, and he kills him. And that's how it ended.
Okay, good. What did you think of it? Just generally, what bits... What do you think was wrong with it?
Right, well, I've read up on it, and there's already a fact that is wrong.
Right.
Caesar's kid, he didn't actually kill his dad. His dad died of a natural death.
Right. In real life, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's Caesar's kid's name? Comedian or something?
I think it's comedian. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the name comes from. When a funny person is called a comedian.
He didn't actually get killed in real life by Max.
No.
He died by his sister poisoning him, and he didn't die. No.
Are you saying that this is not a historical document?
It's wrong.
All over the place.
Yeah.
Well,
in
next
terms
week,
of
next week I'm giving you Braveheart, and that is actually true. That is factually accurate.
I can't handle
It is. It was a little
Listen,
Australian fella that helped him out.
just for people who watched it, they
Go on.
know that the guy, Caesar's kid,
Yeah.
he died. His sister tried to poison him. That didn't work. Apparently, he was a gay fella, and his boyfriend, who was a wrestler, strangled him. That's the
where
real
did you get
story.
this information?
On the internet. I thought I'd look it up to see how much of it I actually got right,
Yes.
and that's what I read.
Okay, so out of 10?
5.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's no good. I wouldn't get it out. And it's annoying the way it says, like, this film's got to be seen at the cinema, because I saw it at home and I don't think I missed out on anything.
Very good point. I think that's probably the point they're making, but yours is valid too. We'll play a record, and after that I'm going to ask you about Rasputin, the Mad Monk.
Sing, sing, sing.
Travis and Sing. I like that. It's all right. It's a bit easy. It's not their best. I like their earlier stuff a little bit better, But what I don't like is them throwing around mollusks. I don't like it when that poor little octopus gets flung around. I know it's dead, but there's a certain lack of respect for the
for the
That's-
whole mollusk
for the
community.
squid and
Yeah.
octopi
Like I said to
fraternity.
you, when I used to go to Wales for my holidays, they used to get washed up on the beach and people used to go over them on the motorbikes. And they were cheering and stuff, and it's just like, do you realise what you're doing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sick, isn't it?
But anyway, Gladiator, just was going to add on the end of that. If you're into that sort of film, Jason and the Argonauts is probably a better bet.
Is that factually accurate?
Did you look that up or not? Did skeletons actually come out of the ground and fight?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's a more enjoyable film.
Okay.
And it's
Okay.
shorter.
Okay, now, just moving quickly on, just the last item on Carl's re-education this week. Rasputin, you read a little book about Rasputin?
What did you know about Rasputin before you read the book, Carl?
Could I just tell you,
Oh.
when I handed him this book, it was my house, I said, right, he went, is he the one that lived under the bridge? And I went, what do you mean? He went, the fella that lived under the bridge, and you had to pass him with a, and Jane, went, you're thinking of, Rapunzel. And he went, yeah, and I went, well, that's not Rapunzel either. Rapunzel's, you had to say his you had to guess his
The person who
name
lived under the
until
bridge was the troll in the three little
yeah,
broke grass.
I'm a troll, foldy well. So, to answer your question, Steve, that's what he knew about Rasputin. Okay?
So have you read this whole book? Can I just have a look at it, Rick?
This whole book, it's about the size of a beer mat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm just thinking. But did you read the whole thing?
No.
You didn't
Well,
manage
you
to read
didn't
the whole
even
thing.
do that.
Well, again, some of the names in there are so long and foreign sounding that I just thought, I can't remember all these. So I
No.
just got to the meat of the story.
Go on,
Okay, and
what
what
is
did
it
you
then?
learn about Rasputin?
Right. He was a monk.
Yep.
And
Mad?
he.
Was he a mad monk?
Hang on a minute.
Don't
mess
confuse
it
him.
up.
Sorry,
Right.
go on.
God. You see, this is what happened in the exams. Right. It was.
Oh, don't do that when I'm drinking, Carl,
was-
please, mate.
He loved his women. And that's how the story started off. He had really nice.
Story started off. Yeah.
He had really nice eyes, and that's what everyone fell for, especially the women.
Yeah.
Anyway, the people back then thought he had special powers because he could hypnotise people or something.
Oh, yeah.
And it was about a little lad who had some sort of blood clot on his leg, and he said, "Just calm down, and you'll be all right." And people thought he had special powers, but what he was doing, he was saying, "Calm down," and he relaxed, and it stopped the blood flowing sort of as fast, and that's how he got better. But anyway, that's the only bit of special work that he did. And then he kept going on, and he was going in brothels and all that. And the people in the town thought, this isn't right. He shouldn't be going about doing this. And
Where did he live?
Russia.
Right.
Is that right?
What sort of era?
I thought you'd like,
No,
sort of-
about 1800.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
And then
Do you want to check that,
people-
Steve? You got the book?
People
Well, I
got
know
sick
for a fact
of
that's
him.
not right.
People got sick of him, and they said, "Oh, we'll have to get rid of him." So they tried to. He loved cakes as well as women.
Okay.
So they said, "Let's poison a cake," and they poisoned a load of
Easier than
cakes.
poisoning a woman, wouldn't it?
And he ate these cakes, and it just didn't kill him. And they were like, "God, what's going on?" And they kept giving him more and more cakes, and
He was suspicious.
and that didn't work. So the fella said, "That's it. I'm going to shoot him." So.
Well, I imagine it was the end of his tether.
So-
I mean, he was back and forth to Mr. Kipling's.
He shot him once, and that didn't work, and the fella thought, oh my god, and he started running away, and Rasputin's running after him, and he shoots him like another, I think he took 4
Face
bullets.
full of Battenberg.
Four bullets he
Didn't
took,
swear then.
4 bullets it took to kill him, and then this fella who was after him chucked him in an icy lake, and that was the end of him. But I don't understand, sort of,
What don't you understand, Carl?
well, the fact that, he's a bit of a name in history, and I don't understand why, because it just sounds a bit like my brother.
Does he love women and cakes? And do you think that'll be his downfall?
Right, I want you to study. Right, if you want to do, that's the first introduction. Right, if you want to do some extracurricular,
What would that get
stuff,
me?
there's a song by Boney M that lays it out.
Suzanne told me about that, saying about Russia's greatest love machine.
Yeah.
But it didn't say anything about cakes.
No,
So
I think if you get the 12-inch mix,
no, but
explain what
they
that's
say
for.
it, according to Boney M, and I don't know who's correct, the bloke who wrote that or M. They put some poison into his wine. Now I don't know if M have done their research or whether they did shoot him until he was dead. According to them, he was the greatest love machine in Russia. I don't think it says that in the book, but M might know more than that fella.
So what's your final verdict on Rasputin?
Just a normal bloke who didn't have that much luck, really. That's what I don't understand. I was waiting for something special at the end, but just a normal fellow, really.
Yeah, just an everyday. Happens all the time, doesn't it?
Just an everyday mad monk.
Yeah, just an everyday mad monk. You have to shoot and poison and throw in icy lakes to kill him, and who loves women and cakes. I mean, come on, do we need another one of them?
Boring.
So what would you say about him then? How would you sum him up?
I think you've done it.
I think you've done it.
There you go.
So next week, Che Guevara, you going to read the book?
I don't know.
Come on.
Next week, Che Guevara. Take it home. There he is.
Give it her then. Nice one.
Good luck.
Cheers.
Alright, Richard X. The Sugar Babes are freaks electric. Are they, Carl?
Don't know. I feel like feels like Christmas Day.
What, you didn't get the gift you wanted?
Yeah, do you know that like anticlimax?
Yeah.
When
You've been looking forward to it for so long.
yeah, you know.
Well, I mean, I knew you were looking forward to it. That's why it took you 14 years to get the result, and then it was 2 other people that got them for you.
Do you
So
wish that we hadn't done it?
Nah, it's all right.
It's alright, isn't it?
What's your girlfriend going to say?
I don't think I'll see her again.
She likes a man who knows about the Tudors and Stuarts, does she?
Yeah, first Gladiator, then this.
Yeah, you've been bluffing. Whenever she said, "What did you go to Stuarts?" You go, "Good." Like
Yeah.
lots of things, but look, it's a bird.
What happened to Henry VIII's last wife?
Oh, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look, Friends is on telly.
Friends is on.
No, I just changed the subject by saying things like, about the only king in a pack of cards.
That threw off the scent.
That threw us off the scent.
That wouldn't fool an invigilator, would it? That's the thing. You can't use that one with an exam board.
Carl, have you ever logged on to Friends Reunited? It was the site that everyone was talking about last year.
No.
Are you aware of the concept?
I've heard about it, but there's no one from school who I'd want to see
Hook up with.
again, really.
So basically, for those that don't know, you have to log onto his website, and then you can it helps you track down your old schoolmates if they've also logged on and stuff. And we took the liberty, really, of looking on the Friends Reunited site and typing in your school and trying to track down any of your old mates. We didn't get in touch with any of them, don't worry.
We didn't do that. And
We're not going to surprise you with them now.
No.
But I was just interested to know, like, some of your thoughts on some of the names that I could run past you. I mean, these are people from your year. Just tell me if you recognise the names. Alison Birch?
Think I remember her.
What's your thoughts of her?
Posh
Don't-
girl,
Don't be
probably-
libellous.
Don't be like, no.
No. Posh probably did pretty well in history and that.
Sarah Morris?
God, yeah. Remember her?
Go on. You're grinning. What's the thought? Go on.
No, just she was all right. She was a popular one.
What does that mean?
She was nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What about Darren Buckley?
He was one of my best mates.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What do you reckon he's doing now? Do you still keep in touch?
When my mum and dad were still in Manchester and they had a butty shop, he used to go in because the bookies was next door.
I love the way you paint a picture.
He used to,
If you did this in your history exam, Carl, you will walk it.
Go on. So your parents had a butty shop. There was a bookies next door.
Yeah, and he liked having a bit of a gamble, so he used to. I think he works for some insurance company.
Do you think that his fiancée Beth knows he's got a gambling problem,
Yeah,
or that his 2-year-old son Lewis?
no,
Yeah, they live in Cheadle Home.
Hume.
Cheadle Hume.
He must be doing well. 'Cause
He's still supporting the Blue Army and frequents the shrine on a fortnightly basis.
funny thing with him is, right, when I used to stay over at his house, and his dad was a copper, and I remember his dad came down and said, right, I want to see you two. I was like, oh God, what's happened? And got us round the table. He said, do you know much about drugs? So we were like, what's all this about? So he goes, they're not good for anyone, they're stupid thing to get into. And we're like, yeah, we know. And he went, you know, do you? We said, yeah. He said, what's this then? And he'd found something in his bedroom, and it was a Skittle.
What the sweet?
Do you know little sweets with the S on it? And
Oh,
he knew
really?
about drugs.
Yeah.
So he said, well, yeah, it's a Skittle. Yeah, I know what it is.
Oh, he was bluffing like that as a slang word.
Yeah, he thought because he was a copper, he probably had to be down with all the terms and that. So we said, oh, it's a skittle. And he said, yeah, I know what it is, but what's it doing in your bedroom?
Oh.
And it was like, no, it's a toffee. So, Darren,
Yeah, I know, it's a toffee, it's a squib, it's a, yeah.
Carl, more people from your past. Debbie Carr?
yeah, she was another nice one.
What does that mean? Is that a euphemism?
No, she was one of them that you'd sort of go, she's nice, but she'd never be your girlfriend. Do you know what I mean? She was,
Not really.
even though she was in the same year, she seemed a lot older.
Right.
And
Wasn't a teacher, was it?
There was 3 of them who all hung together, and they seemed to hang around like the older kids, the ones who looked like men. Do you know what I mean? They had
Yeah.
What
like
did you look like then?
Well, it's just that I had youthful sort of looks, whereas like the older ones had like beards and stuff.
It's the gang of boys in the 5th form with beards. Were they smoking pipes? Come over here, me filly. Oi, Debbie Carr, come over here, you little beauty.
No, but she was like,
I love that. Hanging around with beards. There's the big boys. What a fishing. That's lovely beards. What do you
I
mean?
just see a whole row of George Bernard Shaws. Brilliant.
How do you do in history, boy?
Yeah.
Think got an E. You're an idiot.
they
Oh.
were like, I'd be there sort of playing punching people in the arm. Cause we used to
Oh,
play
yeah.
that at
Oh, that's a
school.
great game.
Oh, I love that. Punch people in the arm.
Is that part of the Olympics now?
it's, I think it was exhibition this year.
Right.
But it's
going to be a pro next
it's going to be the Winter Olympics because you've got to do it in just a cap sleeve shirt
Sure.
in winter.
Yeah. So you're
Oh.
playing that.
She, but whilst I
But
was
she didn't
doing
appreciate that. She used to go, ow!
No, I always think whilst I was doing that, they were like the Charlie's Angels, and they'd be sorting out a mission somewhere because they were really like there was something about them that you thought, yeah, they're special.
They were private detectives.
What if it worked for a man they never see?
Okay, here's a name I'm interested in because, let me just tell you the name first. Adam Clifton. Oh. Go on,
What?
what are your thoughts on Clifton?
He was one of them kids. He was all right, but he had that thing when if you didn't have enough milk, he had like wrinkly hands and like white bits in his nails.
Oh!
Because you didn't have enough milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So therefore, you didn't like him because you didn't get enough milk.
This is not to be confused with the 2 people with the big heads and the webbed feet, is it?
Webbed hands.
Well, what's
I know
interesting.
that they weren't related. They must have been somewhere along the evolutionary sort of trail. Do you know what I mean? They must have come from the same sort of stock.
But
no,
can-
you wouldn't have liked him. He's just one of them people. He was all right, but
well, before you say any more, on Friends United, you can leave a little message which explains what you've been doing and what your life's like now. And most people leave maybe 2 paragraphs.
Right.
Adam, I've printed it off. He seems to have printed. I think there's about 6 pages here of stuff. He keeps updating it, and he just basically lists his memories about everyone. Okay, at the school and what he thinks of everyone. And he says, I often see Simon, he's doing alright for himself, self-employed illustrator, Mark Cooper, Karl Pilkington.
Right.
And your name comes up. Now, I don't know if you've told us this story. I think you may have done, but I can't remember the facts about it. It just says, Karl Pilkington, with his pet bird. Was it a magpie? I can't remember. He brought it to school to show everyone, and it flew away.
Oh God! Oh no, they do that, don't they? You
True.
show them the love.
What was the story there,
You
Carl?
give them seed and they just leave. What do you mean?
Well,
This sounds like Kez.
Well, that's it. I was a big fan of Kez, and it was the time our dog had just died.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any pets, and the cats were always getting run over.
Yeah.
And so we didn't want any more pets.
Yeah.
But there was a magpie that used to fly about on the estate, and I managed to sort of tame it. And in the end,
With a chair and a whip. What do
it
you mean you
became a-
tamed it?
Well, just used to sort of hang around it and talk.
But how
to
did you
it.
get hold of it? Did you catch it?
Well, eventually, yeah, it used to just come to me, and the annoying thing was, it got to a point when I wish I hadn't bothered, because it used to pop me bike tyres. It used to sit on like, if I was talking to my mates and I was on my grifter.
I love the way he just throws things in.
It's like an Alan Bennett play.
It landed on my tyre, and it used to peck at the time, pop it, and then
Oh,
it used to then never go away, so it was always like around the house, and my dad said never bring it in. So it used to sit on the porch, and I used to go out, and it used to fly down and land on my head,
Oh.
and it really hurt. It used to like peck and stuff.
He thought it was a tyre.
So it wasn't so much tamed as a stalker.
Oh God!
So you took it to school and it flew away?
Yeah.
So did you take it in proudly going, look at my magpie? Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
But
no.
I think it got a bit confused in the area that it was in, because I used to just keep it sort of around our estate, but
Sure.
the school was a bit of a distance away.
How did you get it there?
So, carrying it on my finger.
Did you walk?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was happy there, and then it got...
But it used to be one of those things that people would stop me in the street and sort of go, "Oh, what's that?"
And
it's
I don't suppose
Maggie, called it Maggie.
You didn't get Charlie's Angels to go and find out what happened to it? Investigate?
Were they impressed?
No, not really.
No.
But
Listen.
go on. Any. Like,
Carl, let's come back
names?
to it. Let's come back to it. Let's have a hip hop hooray track. It's the big hip hop selection from Big Steve Merchant. I don't know what I'm talking about there. Just trying to sound hip. This is Spearhead from many years back. A track again I think got largely overlooked at the time, but worth hearing again. People in the Middle.
Oh, right.
Spearhead, People in the Middle. Michael Franti, surely one of the greatest rappers, I think. If you've ever heard him bust it live, Rick, he's almost as good as me.
I'm just going to tell the listeners there, Carl is quite a little insecure sort of chap, and he was just worried about that last bit. He was going, who would ever find that interesting? He was worried about people finding him boring. And Steve said, as I said, you know, it's like an Alan Bennett thing. He went, yeah, but, you know, no one would care about Alan Bennett if he wasn't such a hit maker. They wouldn't care what he had to say. And we just looked at him for a while, and he went, thinking of Tony Bennett. Bless him.
Listen, it's almost the end of the show, Carl.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really been a Carl special.
This is a Carl special, yeah.
Well, next week,
we won't be
we'll
getting
lay
this
off you
much
next
week. We have to
We're
know.
not going to...
He wants to retire a little bit. Just,
Well, those old lottery numbers might come up tonight anyway.
Exactly.
you might, what are they again? What's the 4 you've got with?
Fuck them away now.
What? Come on, well, give us all 6.
No.
Why?
Carl, while you're rummaging for that,
5, 9, 12 and 26.
a few more names that you may recall from Friends Reunited.
Go on.
Lisa Shufflebotham? Do you remember her?
Yeah, she...
Was she one of Charlie's Angels?
No, she wasn't that nice, but she wanted me. Her and her mate Rachel, I remember, I don't know why, but it was some sort of PE lesson where it had to be a bloke and 2 girls, and they were fighting over me.
And
Could you hear what they were saying?
They were just like, I want him, and I was loving it. Stuck in the middle, and they were fighting over me. And then the next week, I thought I'll sit near them.
What
again.
sort of game do they play at this school?
I don't know,
That's an incredible game.
but I think
Punch me on the arm. No, punch me on the arm, Carl.
They just went through it. Because the following week, I thought, right, I'll sit near them again because I quite enjoyed the way they fighted over me. But then they picked somebody else, and I don't know who I was with that week.
So you didn't get any action with Shufflebotham or a friend?
No. And
What-
then as she got older, she went a bit off. She didn't look that good. She's probably nice now. It's just, I mean, I'll say about myself, when you get to sort of the end of secondary school, you do sort of go a bit odd looking.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? When your
Yeah.
sort of head grows funny.
I would just love to go back to his school of that era. I mean, just what happened to people, whether, you know, all people sprouting limbs
No, do you know
and
what I mean?
things.
When you're like 12 and that, you quite... No, not 12. When you're 10. When you're 7 to 10, you sort of look healthy. And you look at your pictures when you go, yeah, I was a good-looking lad. But then when you get to late secondary school, something happens.
Yeah.
And you just look a bit odd.
Okay, well, what about Alison Thorpe?
Not sure about her. I sort of know the name, can't put a face to it.
Damien Comer?
Again, know the name,
Yeah.
can't remember anything.
No.
Yeah.
It's a shame. Well, those are pretty much all the names I could find. We've had some interesting thoughts, though, and interesting anecdotes.
Yeah.
Anyone in
Yeah.
particular that you'd like to say hello to that maybe listening now that
No,
you...
I think I would have mentioned Darren Buckley if you hadn't have brought him up.
Oh, right.
He was like me buddy.
Yeah. Did
So-
you ever see the Magpie game when you took it to the school and confused it?
No.
You're joking. That was the end of it, was it?
Yeah.
So where did it go?
Probably to some other kid. Because, I mean, actually, it probably got killed. Because if it was being that friendly with other people, some people might have took advantage of it.
In what way?
Well, there was a programme on the other week about...
What, in the way that Shufflebotham was trying to take advantage of you?
Yeah.
There was a programme on the other week about bear whisperers.
Yeah.
And some blokes got really friendly with a bear. And then when they were leaving that area where the bear was, they said, oh, we've caused a problem here. Because there's some bear hunters coming in and moving into this area. And it's going to get a bullet if it acts like this. So they had to scare it away. And that's what I should have done with Maggie. I should have terrified it a little bit. So it wouldn't trust humans.
Just introduced it to some of your schoolmates, I'm sure would have freaked it right out.
Well, the ones with
Maybe
the
that was
big
why
heads.
it fled.
It didn't see.
It
Oh
sounded
no,
weird.
it didn't see those two fellas with big heads and webbed hands coming towards it, did it?
That would have terrified anything. It's like a scarecrow, like two walking scarecrows. Listen, have we got time for a song for the ladies? What's happening?
Oh.
We've not really thought.
Quick
We've just
then,
been
quick,
wittering
just
on
do
here.
it, just do it. Thanks very much.
Well, hang on, no, we haven't lined anything up, have we?
I was going to play Mary Lawson and that for you. And then
Is this going to be the final track?
It has to
Yeah,
be.
it would be, yeah.
We've blown it. We've blown it on the Carl special.
We have indeed.
I'll play it next week. So Carl there's got an E at history in GCSE. Any history teachers, anyone who can help Carl out, I think we should try and register him and take it this June. So
what's
thanks
your
very
homework
much
for this week?
listening. You've got to read about Che Guevara, haven't you?
Yeah.
The revolutionary leader.
Okay.
Do you know anything about him at all? Have you got any basis?
I just know that if you want to use his face on your business, it costs a lot of money. Do you know, like, if McDonald's wanted to have him as, like, instead of Ronald McDonald?
How does he do it? Steve, how does he do it, mate?
Oh, we listen. Just play a final record, Carl. Say goodbye, and we'll see you next week.
Alright.
See you later.
Cheers, mate.
Oh, regret is terrible.
Chào mọi người, và hôm nay bên em lại về một chiếc Focus xe bản 2.0 số tự động sản xuất 2011. Xe phiên bản màu vàng cát, la răng thì 5 chấu thì rất là chất luôn. Focus là một trong những dòng mà nhìn rất là ngầu. Đấy, 2011 nên là thành ra là đèn mọi thứ nó xuống cấp rồi. Đèn nó cũng tương đối tối. Đấy, biểu tượng Ford này. Đấy, các bạn có thể thấy rằng tổng thể chiếc xe khá là đẹp. Với một mức giá hơn 200 triệu thì chúng ta đã sở hữu một chiếc Focus một số tự động. Em sẽ quay tổng thể chiếc xe. Không phải tại sao đã hơn 200 triệu đã sở hữu rồi, vì con này nó cũng đi hơn chục năm và nó cũng bị va quẹt, bục két nước rồi. Đấy, và cũng phải gò hàn một số chỗ. Vì vậy có một mức giá ưu đãi. Đèn này họ nhìn rất là chất luôn. Cái con này cũng được, nhìn đèn chất thế không biết. La răng thì rất là hay luôn. Nói chung tổng thể chiếc xe rất là ok, xi nhan tích hợp trên gương đây này. Đấy, mọi thứ của em nó rất là chất. Và sẽ quay nội thất cho mọi người xem nhé. Nội thất hàng ghế trước có thể thấy rằng là vô năng đã được bọc. Cần số là cần số thẳng luôn nhé. DVD tích hợp kem đùi, phanh tay cơ, đấy, bệ tì tay, loa âm thanh trầm rất là chất luôn. Da ghế đã nhăn nheo và có xuống cấp theo thời gian. Đấy, nói chung là theo hơn chục năm thì nó xuống cấp là chuyện bình thường mọi người nhé. Hàng ghế sau da ghế cũng rất là nhăn nheo, đấy, xuống cấp. Nói chung là 2011 thì nó cũng hơn chục năm chỉ được vậy là tốt lắm rồi. Đấy, hơn 200 triệu một chiếc xe để nó đi lại như này thì còn gì bằng nữa đâu. Focus 2.0, tiền hậu nhìn rất là chất, tít được trên cao luôn. Focus. Và vì nó bị lỗi mà đâm đụng vào bục két nước cũng như là gò hàn ở phần đầu thì bên em giao bán lên một mức giá là 230 triệu. Còn nếu mà nó không lỗi thì chắc chắn nó phải trên 300 triệu rồi, hoặc phải 300 triệu, nhưng mà đều lỗi. Và bên em phải chuyên bán các dòng xe lỗi mà. Và ai mua thì phải liên hệ sớm nhé. Và bên em rất nhiều khách quen. Bên em mà phải ghim phần bình luận đã bán là sẽ không còn nữa đâu. Và bên em không ghim gì thì là xe vẫn đang còn. Đấy, các bạn phải đến xem xe trực tiếp nhé, không chuyển nhận cọc trước. Xem trực tiếp xem là cái lỗi đâm đụng như vậy thì có chấp nhận được không. Và nếu chốt được thì mới làm thủ tục sang tên, và ai mua thì phải liên hệ sớm với em, không nếu mà hết thì đã biến hết thì không còn đâu. Xin chào tất cả mọi người.
And Karl Pilkington,
Indeed.
genius Karl Pilkington, as
Yes.
Heat magazine said.
Really? Is that what
Yeah.
he's referred to now?
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah, genius. Saying about people tune in just to hear his games,
Yeah.
such as educating Ricky. Have you got some educating Ricky for me?
Got some educating.
I need some education, Carl.
That's
I
coming later.
desperately need some education. I want to learn about Chinese kids that are born hairier than average. I want to hear about deaf girls that can hear after their mum hits their head against a wall. These are the things I need to know.
I mean, I don't wish to be disrespectful. He doesn't look like a genius.
He doesn't look like
But then I
genius.
don't know what a genius looks like. really.
Exactly.
So,
Steve.
you know, I don't want to be an unfair.
Look at Einstein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His mum thought he was mental as a child.
Where'd you get that information from?
That was in the Einstein book.
Well, it was in the Einstein book, then it's presumably true.
Which Einstein book is that? His Theory of Relativity?
The big book of Einstein stuff.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the big bumper book of Einstein stuff. It's
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
coach trip, and you have to fill in
Yeah.
E equals MC1 squared, 2 fish, or 3 hello, and then it's multiple choice,
Yeah.
and you fill it. It's great. It's
Did his mum
brilliant.
think, A, he was a genius, B, mental?
Most people go for A, but it is in fact B. She thought he was mental at the age of 28. Oh, Carl, you never let me down. You never let me down. So have you got educating Ricky for me?
We've got educating Ricky coming up.
You've got Rockbusters.
We've got Rockbusters.
Some great
As seen and talked about in Heat.
In Heat magazine.
It's got really tough this week now. We're not messing about anymore.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Got some good prizes.
Absolutely, yeah, we'll talk about those later.
Alright.
Because, I mean, was it last week that you had the classic? Was it, I can't remember, I'm paraphrasing, Carl, apologies. Something like, I'm here in Texas, I've fallen in a puddle, and my knee has got wet.
Yeah. Wet Knee Houston.
Whitney Houston.
And
Yeah.
also, it was last week when there was a little bit of confusion over the one for Holly Valance.
Of
right?
course.
I
I don't think it was confusion, I think it was your error.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
And it
because-
was Holy Valance, and you meant Pelmet.
Then
One.
Becky, who called up that time and said, "Oh, if you're getting mistaken with Pelmet," right? She sent me an email in a week
Yeah.
saying, "I've done a bit of research.
Yeah.
It was my fault. I've made an error.
Yeah.
It is a Valance."
Okay.
And I know about Valances, as I told you last week. At the very end, my auntie loves them.
Yeah.
Right? She makes them. She started off just like putting them on top of the sort of window around the curtain. And then she thought, oh, I can do more with this. And she had a little coffee table that had magazines underneath, and she said, I'm sick of seeing them magazines when I'm sat down.
She sounds like a Pilkington.
So,
I'm sick of seeing them magazines when I sit down.
so she put a Valance round the table.
Yeah,
She just got balances around everything now.
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah.
next step, she tapes everything. She never actually watches telly. She tapes it all because
Yeah.
she gets sick of listening to the adverts and that.
Yeah.
So she tapes everything. So she's got loads of videotapes and that. And the video used to get on her nerves. When she was watching a film, she'd see the clock changing,
Oh.
and it distracted her from the film. So
Sure.
she put a Valance round that.
Yeah.
That's genius.
Yeah.
So
That is really.
Or is it mental? Only
I don't
Mrs.
know.
Einstein can tell
I
us.
don't know. She's even made her little Jack Russell look like a hovercraft.
no, if you
It's
stand still,
great.
that's
So
it.
everything's got a balance.
If you go round and you stand still for too long, the chances are you get
She'll
a
put a
Valance around your head.
Yeah.
This is this is Auntie Who,
And Nora.
and this is the one that farted for 5 minutes.
She did.
Lest our listeners forget.
Lest we
farted
forget.
for 5 minutes. Called his mum, saying I'm farting. 2 minutes into the fart.
She said about 2.5 minutes in.
Yeah. God.
She said I'm about 2.5 minutes
Well,
into
my
the
mum said, how long's it been going on for? She said, well, it was about 2.5 minutes before I called you.
Yeah.
And then it went on for a further 2.5 minutes or something. And, then it stopped. And,
She couldn't type right because there was a Valance over the clock.
Yeah, she
because it used to
couldn't
annoy
type
her
it,
when she was
yeah.
on the phone. You put her off seeing
So
the time.
it was
she was
consi-
guessing it was 5 minutes.
This was one consistent fart.
yeah. I mean, it wasn't making a noise, it was just,
Oh, it wasn't making a noise.
just gas.
Right. Endless gas.
So, there you
That's
go.
fantastic. Well, we started off with a new one, a little bit of Foo Fighters. We like new and old on this show, don't
Indeed,
we?
we like to mix it up.
I'd like to play to the Smiths from their debut album, I Don't Owe You Anything. I Don't Owe You Anything. The lads from Carl's hometown there.
Indeed.
The Smiths. Brilliant, that one. Wow, I went to Manchester, didn't I, the other day? Went up to Manchester for
What
a
did
little
you make of
corporate. It was alright.
Yeah.
He went, wait till you get out, you see Piccadilly, it's better than Euston. Right. It was, you know, it was nicer. I went outside and there was a ridiculous queue, and sort of one cab.
Right, yeah.
So,
Horse-drawn.
yeah. And so I walked, and it was okay, it was only down the road, it was a bit dark. It was wet and raining.
Obviously, it's the north.
I know, yeah. The hotel was very nice, but no minibar. I've never seen that before. I've travelled all over the world to see them in a hotel without a minibar.
No,
so I don't know what's going on then. I don't know what's going on there. And then I did this corporate gig in Old Trafford. The pitch was up, don't know what they were doing, but, you know, very impressive. Big impressive. I think they're British Football Club, aren't they? Carl?
Yeah.
You did a gig at where?
Old Trafford. It was in a function room.
Oh,
there,
well, I thought it was the stadium.
No, I'm
Incredible.
not that big yet. No. But I mean, you know, I can't really comment on Manchester. I do know that Liverpool was voted most important music city via poll.
True enough.
So, Carl, you're making noises while I'm talking.
Yeah, but you do this all the time trying to wind me up. And I'm not saying Manchester's the best place in the world, but what I'm saying is, there's bits of it that I really miss.
Yeah.
Like last Sunday, right? When I'd met up with Ricky, we had spaghetti bolognese, which was alright. And then I said to him, I need some soil.
Damn, I wish you'd invited me, it sounds amazing.
Said I need some soil, what do you think?
You need some what, soil?
Soil, yeah.
I need to repot a plant, right?
Yeah.
So,
you need to repot a plant?
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
So, I'm like, where, you can't see these shops in London. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing around.
I took him straight to one in my street.
Yeah, but near your street, and that's probably the only one in London.
Well, you say that, Carl.
No, it does annoy me. Round my way, it's like, you know...
You can't move for soil shops.
You can't. There's earth, you can just pick up handfuls walking down the street.
Yeah, incredible.
Which
People
is-
just lean over into someone's front garden. No, you can take the plants as well.
No, but what I'm saying is,
Go on.
Manchester, there's loads of decent hardware shops.
Yeah.
Here, you know, if you want a panini and a latte or whatever, you can't move from. But for soil, I had to go virtually how many miles away from me to carry that soil home and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not good. I mean, London's alright, but if cities were sort of marked...
It's neglecting the peat. Market, really,
Well,
isn't
there's barely any mulch available in central London.
I'm sick and tired of not getting a good decent compost of a Sunday.
Indeed.
So,
It sickens me.
I'm thinking of moving to the north,
Yeah.
where there is loads of soil and gravel
Indeed.
and animal shite.
whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, you were going to say if you're marking cities out of 10, what would you give London?
Well, if you were marking them on, like, you know, on what they have...
Right.
as opposed to what?
Well, as opposed to...
How
The
you
name.
spell it.
Say, like, I think the greatest city in the world is Rome. Right,
Okay.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Have you been?
What? Yeah. Why do you think that though?
Just because, like, you turn a corner and there's something there that's really old. Right? Like, you're going down Normal Street.
Go and stay in a Derby and Joan club.
Yeah.
No, but it's like you're going down the road and then you turn a corner and like the Colosseum's in the middle of a busy road. It's like, what's that doing there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just when you think there's no more, you turn another corner.
It's almost as if that was there first.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? London,
Yeah.
what have we got? You know, Trafalgar Square's world known. And you go there, what's there?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, there's a lot of space there. Get one big B&Q
In Trafalgar Square.
to cater for the whole of people who live sort of central Londonish.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'd be happy, but what I'm saying
What with
is...
Nelson just popping up through the middle? Because you can still see it, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
B&Q, so B&Q could be like the whole sort of flat thing and make it sort of grey so it looked like rock, and then Nelson popping
Make it
up.
classy is what you're saying.
Yeah. Stone clad it.
Yeah.
So it looks like you've made an effort.
Exactly.
And then you can pop in, and then you can go out and go, oh look, Nelson's column. Oh look at that, isn't Nelson, oh look at that, the victory, defeat, that's fantastic, one of the greatest living.
Yeah.
I need some nails.
Yeah. Perfect. Killing two birds with one stone, you're saying?
But why isn't there more than them shops? Because when I went into yours, every time I've been in there twice now. The first time was to get a shower head, right?
Right.
And I went in there, couldn't resist buying something else. I ended up getting some super glue as well.
Blimey. Hey, big spender.
And then, last Sunday we went in there, got 2 bags of soil, not one, I bought 2.
Yeah.
And I bought some scissors to cut plants with.
Secateurs.
Well, you don't,
Scissors.
you never know when you want, you know, you might need more soil, I suppose.
Well, I've got
You've
2.
stocked out now. Where'd you keep it under your bed?
Sorry, this isn't going out, is it, this conversation? It's not going out on air.
I got a feeling it might be.
You're joking. We better play a record.
Okay.
Play a classic. Hives Hate to Say I Told You So on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, obviously, with me, Steve Merchant, and Karl Genius Pilkington.
Absolutely. I was watching a bit of TV.
Karl the Brain Pilkington.
Yeah, the brains.
Yeah.
I was watching a bit of TV last night, Rick.
Go on.
And I had a little
Children
thought.
Need?
No, I didn't watch Children Need.
No, you missed a
I was watching
treat.
something. I think it was last night. It was a bit earlier. I had a little thought for lads that might be out tonight, you know, on the Raz.
Yeah.
Maybe they get a little bit of success with the ladies.
Yeah.
This was something that struck me as I was watching it. A lot of gentlemen, you know, when they're engaged in, you know, an act of, you know, relations with a lady, they like to sort of, you know, think of an image or something that will prevent them from, you know, and you catch my drift. We're men in the world.
Grandmother's funeral is the cliche, isn't it?
Exactly. And I'll tell you what I think, it should be. Rick Waller, jogging. I was watching Fit Club. I have never seen anything
I
like
liked it when
Rick.
Harvey lost it with him.
Oh, man alive. I mean, I know I slag him off, but I don't really like him either. I just think he comes across appallingly. And I think, you know...
When he just walked away in that mid-conversation talking to that bloke, they're doing it for his good, really.
But he's like 31 stone?
I think he lost a bit. I think he's 29 now. Don't exaggerate, Steve. You make him sound like a fat.
But you know, I mean, yeah.
That was close, wasn't it?
When having sex, you know, apparently, thinking of, Rick Waller helps.
Oh, don't look what's happened.
Exactly.
That's the reverse effect.
Yeah.
Oh, no, me and Karl.
No, if you're with a lady, apparently that works.
I know, he's out now, isn't he? He's out.
Did he walk out?
I think so. I think that's it, from what I can...
No, I think next week they kick him out, because I read something about, they get rid of him next week because of his attitude, and the first time I read it I thought he'd actually ate someone's hat. But it was...
You lost me.
Got rid of him because of the attitude. Oh!
Everything you think of now is puns. You can't get puns out of your head, can you?
Oh, Karl, you're great. Look at his little face.
He's so
That
pleased. How
is
long have you been
good.
working on that?
You've gotta give him that. That was a real joke. Look at his face. He knew it was funny. It was meant to be funny. He said it to be funny, and it was. Well done. Well done.
I'm just interested, I just want to dissect it, because it was brilliant, and I'm wondering, how long have you been working on it?
About 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, it's good stuff, it was worth the wait.
I got it now.
Oh, well done.
The attitude.
Well, I don't think... there's only one band that can top that. Another band from Manchester. Oasis.
Oh.
Vines. Ms. Jackson on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington. Right. Getting towards that time where Karl really kicks into action. We've got the quiz. We've got Rockbusters. The quiz that's a bit like Blockbusters, but mainly around music. Yeah, and a pun. A scenario. Based in wordplay by Karl. You know how good he is at that.
Can I tell you what the prizes are this week, because they're worth playing for?
Please do.
Okay, we got on DVD the Manic Street Preachers' Greatest Hits on DVD. The videos, I'm assuming. The film Human Traffic, it's a remixed DVD version of that. I think we were giving this away last week. You've obviously got a bulk stock of these. Groove Armada's Love Box, an album from them. The best air guitar album in the world ever. That's got the likes of Queen, Adams, Palmer, Leopard,
Aerosmith.
Idol. I don't see
I think the
Aerosmith.
Smiths should be on there.
We got Purple, Wolf, Cooper, Top, Quo, and Back, Nickelback. Now there was another one around actually. I seem to have lost one of the prizes, Karl. Oh, here we are. Yeah, this is, you might have seen this advertised on TV, the Best Bands Ever album. And, just imagine who this is aimed at. It's got, Oasis on there, Nickelback, Coldplay, da-da-da. The Dandy Warhols, Bohemian Like You, in brackets, as featured in the Vodafone TV ads. Then it's got Smash Mouth, Walking on the Sun, as featured in the Ford Fiesta TV ads.
It's for people who didn't know they liked indie.
Exactly.
They go, I don't like indie, but you do. Do you like this advert? Yeah.
I
Do you
love
like
it.
this advert? Yeah. Well, you like indie then? I do! I love indie!
Can't believe it.
That's great!
Yeah. The Mock Turtles, Can You Dig It? As featured in the Vodafone TV ads.
I really like indie!
Do you love, the T-Mobile TV ad?
Yeah?
You'll love this. It's got Royce Cup on there, which is featured in there. So that's an album for people who don't like music.
That's great. That's
And I'll
coming
tell
up,
you what,
Rockbusters.
but I also have a movie, because you know last week I gave away Executive Decision.
Yeah.
That was on TV last night, in case
Yes.
you didn't receive my copy.
But well, they probably watched it before it was on
Indeed,
TV.
yeah.
A few days
I was
before.
clearing out, Rick,
Yeah.
last night. I found another one which might be just to entice people.
Go on. What is it?
Coming
It's
right
got
at
it.
you.
It's coming out the bag.
The Pelican Brief.
Oh!
Another arbitrary film choice on VHS. Pelican Brief. Robert Washington. You'll notice
Get it now on VHS
in
before
Chooch's
there are
video,
no more
$6.99.
VHSs around.
It was $6.99. I'm giving that away as
That's
well.
great,
Pelican
and that's
Brief.
his personal collection.
That's from my personal collection.
Did you see that picture, Carl?
I don't think it's even rewound from when I watched it.
Really?
No, it's not. You can rewind that yourself.
Brilliant. That's a little touch of Steve action there.
Exactly.
Did you see that picture that he brought in?
I have actually. Can I see it again, Carl? Yeah, it's just a picture. You carry it with you, do you? In your wallet all the time?
He found it, right?
Last week I was sorting it, because I'm moving. I'm sorting all my files out and that. And, because this is the only school picture
He
I've
had
got.
one school picture taken when he was, was that 10 in 1981?
I was about eight and
I don't
nine
know.
there.
Okay, tell the story. Why is that the only school picture you had taken?
Just because, no, I had them all, I was always had them taken, right? But my dad thought they were overpriced for what you get. Because really, he said that the sort of the whole idea of a good picture is like, not only the person that's in it, but like the surroundings.
Yeah.
So like, if you're on holiday, he'll look at me and he'll go, oh yeah, you're looking well there. What's that hill in the background? Or something like that. Whereas with
That's
that,
Rick Waller, catching up.
but all you get on these school pictures is like a blue background, innit?
Yeah.
So he was like, I'm not paying for that.
Sure.
And it was a big one. You get a bigger one than that, but that's just like a little passport size, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
That was £1.60. And he wasn't really happy paying that, because he said you could get like some done from True Print for a lot cheaper.
That he could take himself.
Yeah.
So,
And so did he tell you at the time that was the last time he was paying for a school
He
picture?
said, I'll get you one because it's good to have a picture of you at school.
Yeah.
Because they hardly ever went and all that. So he said, like...
What's that in the background? That's my school dad. Oh, I didn't...
I don't recognise it. You got any interesting stories about it? Not really.
So, I was a good-looking kid there, wasn't I?
What are you doing with your mouth, though, Carl? It looks like you're sort of... It looks like a bit like you're a ventriloquist dummy.
What do you mean?
Well, it looks like you sort of scrunching your mouth up, or pursing your lips, or something. Do you not think?
Oh.
I mean, now you've got, dare I say it, very kissable lips. But in here, look how thin they are. Look at those little thin lips. It's like you...
I'm smiling.
That's a smile?
Oh, that's what I didn't recognise that
No, I
either.
didn't realise that was a
Oh,
smile.
it's
I
a
never
smile. Is that what you look like when you smile?
Oh.
Oh.
And what's happening with the head?
Had your
Obviously-
dad seen you smile before then?
Well, I think that's why he wanted to buy one as well. That's like, so he can remember what it was like.
Right.
Because I don't smile.
When did you stop smiling? When was the last time you had fun and you just like happy-go-lucky? When can you remember when you had no weight of the world on your shoulders?
I often think that. Because I don't sleep like I did, like when I was a kid. I had really good sleeps, and now I don't.
Right.
So, I think...
But you've got a lot of things on your mind, you know, where can I buy soil?
Yeah, how can I confuse a computer by tapping in Y in the search engine?
yeah.
Probably when I was 14, I was stress-free.
Where?
Yeah.
When was the paper round?
Probably when I was 15.
Right. That's when it started, was it?
I reckon. That's when I started getting stressed.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the haircut you've got in the, because obviously I've not seen you before with hair, and it's an interesting mop. Do you have that done at a barber's?
No, my mum used to do it.
Yeah, she cut that?
age, yeah.
Right,
She
did
used to, what she used to do, you can't see it in that picture, but there was one where she did, bit of a mess of it. I mean, it looks
Right.
quite...
I can't tell from this picture.
No, but that's one of the better ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right. Were you bullied much?
On one of them, she used to, like, use a bit of newspaper in front of my eyes, so she didn't, like, stick these scissors in my eyes.
So newspaper stops scissors every time.
Yeah, because I think they use that for bulletproof vests.
Yeah, the tough fabric of a reconstituted newspaper will stop the scissor any time.
No, definitely. I remember, because I know a lot of UN guys when they're on patrol, they use some old copies of The Sun.
They put it in their pocket.
Yeah, the Daily Star.
Sorry, yeah, okay, yeah.
So, she used to always be on a Sunday night when, like, Songs of Praise is on or something, nothing was on the telly, just before Last of the Summer Wine or something.
Yeah.
And she used to get the,
What a depressing time that was.
It was.
Having your hair cut and listening to Songs of Praise, waiting for Last Summer Wine.
Yeah.
I always used to get depressed on Sunday nights.
Well, I'll tell you
and
what-
it wasn't because school was the next morning, it was because the telly was so shite.
I think it was because school was next morning, because Antiques Roadshow still does that for me. I see the Antiques Roadshow, I love it, but I'm just thinking I've got to go to school or work tomorrow.
Yeah.
The Roadshow, I wish they put it on the week.
But I know, I've never really had that. When I worked, I suppose. I work now. Don't I? No. Oh, what
Not
a giveaway. What a giveaway.
Sorry, you were telling us a story about...
So anyway, so she'd get the, newspaper.
Right.
And she'd stick it in front of my eyes. And,
What does that say? Go on.
so she'd
You inherited a lot from your mum, didn't you?
So
Go on.
she'd cut me fringe, right?
Yeah.
But then she'd go, oh, it's not straight. It's not very good. So she'd go again, and she'd keep going, and the problem
Is that why you're bald now?
I was to say, is this that you have got hair,
Well,
but she has to get it right.
yeah.
And it takes her to the back of your neck to
So
get it
then
even.
She sort of removed the newspaper, and she was like, oh, God. I said, what? She goes, oh, I'm sorry. And like...
What, did this happen every Sunday?
Can I ask you, Carl, when she was cutting your hair in this picture, do you think she was maybe sidetracked by an interesting article in the paper and really wasn't paying attention to
or
what she
did
was
her
doing?
favourite hymn come on?
Yeah,
and
indeed.
she started
Or Compo was rolling down the hill.
in a bath.
So yeah, I ended up with like, you know, a fringe sort of on the back of my head, because she just kept going further and further.
Sure.
But,
When did you start going to that barber that was on the railway station?
that's when I started work, so, you know, sort of 16, 17.
And is he the one that said you have the hair of a Chinaman?
He's the one who's, yeah.
He sounds like a wise man.
Well, can I just stop? I think maybe we should play a tune, but maybe you could bring in some photos next week, Rick, and we can talk about them on the radio.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna do a card trick. Right, take a card. Any card. Yeah. Right, look at it. Is that your card?
Boy with the Arab strap, Bell and Sebastian. Coming next, educating Ricky.
You too, Electrical Storm. Steve, am I mental, or have we been playing some great tunes
We've
today?
been playing some great tunes. You're not mental. You're
On
a genius.
XFM. Yeah, on XFM 104.9, Gervais with me, Steve Merchant and Karl Pilkington. Karl Pilkington in the chair now. The talked about, the acclaimed Educating Ricky.
Right, well, just in case anyone's new, doesn't normally listen, basically, I'm educating Ricky. Do a bit of research in a week, find stuff, news, history, anything that's interesting. 3 stories, I give them a nice little headline, you take your pick. Between now and 3, you're gonna learn 3 things. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, the headlines are, I'll be no buying one of them.
Give us that again.
I'll be no buying one of them.
Nice, okay.
Yeah. We've also got, hippopotamus.
Okay. Okay.
And, can you believe it?
Can you believe it?
Well, I'm
that's
gonna
your
go
choice,
for
Rick.
Hippopotamus.
Hippopotamus?
Yeah.
News.
Right, well this one, it's, I'm not gonna take the credit here. I heard Christian talking about this on breakfast, right, because it's a good story that happened. Basically, I don't know if I told you about it last week when we were having our spaghetti, but,
I think you did.
Right,
I know what it is. I know what this is.
Okay, I've not heard this.
right, there's a little midget, right, there's a circus.
I'm loving it already.
Circus going on somewhere, I think it was in America. And,
Is that present day or old times?
I'm talking like in the last 3 weeks.
Okay.
Right? Little midget, circus, really packed out show, people are loving it.
Right, Steve, you'll ask the same question I did, I know.
So there's a little midget jumping up and down on a trampoline.
What circus is this?
Right?
I'd pay good money to see it.
So everyone's clapping, and he's getting carried away.
Because he can't believe he can't believe they're loving it. I didn't know they'd like a little person on a trampoline, but they love me.
But you know what it's like when, if there's a crowd of people sort of encouraging you to sort of go higher and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he knew it was getting out of hand. But he was jumping and he was coming down the road going higher, and he's going really high in the air, right? So he's doing this, crowd are clapping. There's a hippo, right, just sat next to the trampoline, getting ready to come on and do his act.
Oh, right, I thought he was in the audience.
That's it, getting ready to do his act, Steve.
Yeah.
So the
He's a ventriloquist.
What do you mean he's sitting by the trampoline waiting to do his act?
Because it's
Why does he sit in the dressing room and they go, 5 minutes, Mr. Mus, 5 minutes, Mr. Mus.
So anyway, right, so the hippo's there,
He's getting annoyed, is he? Because the midget's
He's
eating
going,
into
how
his
can I
tongue.
follow this? How
Yeah.
can I,
He's
this is
probably
really
thinking,
annoying. They're gonna be,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
no.
so,
He's thinking, he's already done the trampoline, my pogo stick act is never gonna work.
Yeah, go on, so there's a hippo waiting. See, it's a great story and I just know he embellishes it or he gets slightly wrong. Go on.
so,
So there's a midget jumping up and down, the hippo's getting annoyed, he
The
wants to
crowd
go.
are going
The
mad,
crowd
the
are going
midget's
mental.
loving it, can't believe his luck. Although you think he probably knows he's dicing with danger.
Yeah. So, next thing you know, they're all saying higher, higher. He gives it one big, like, heavy sort of landing on the trampoline, goes really high, but goes off at a funny angle.
Oh.
Hypotenuse.
Okay.
Yeah. And sort of flies off.
Hypotenuse!
Sure.
Flies off at a funny angle.
Oh dear.
Hippo's there, swallows him whole. Crowd are clapping, thinking that's why the hippo was waiting there.
Rubbish. Rubbish.
It's not rubbish though.
But no, maybe there was an accident in a circus with a midget and a hippo, but at no point was this hippo waiting to go on, going, come on. The midget flew off at hypotenuse and landed in the hippo's mouth and was swallowed whole. This is what you embellish it. That is great. And what's
I
that?
have to say though, Rick, when I heard midget, trampoline, hippopotamus, I was thinking accident waiting to happen.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
maybe? I mean...
It is that, you should never put those three together.
Never.
It's a recipe for disaster. Everyone
textbook.
knows that. Midget, trampoline, hippopotamus. Are you mental?
You're asking for
Well,
trouble.
Well,
You know, when he told me it, he said, and the midget, he didn't mention the hippopotamus, and he said the midget went on, and soon he fell off, and the hippo ate him. And I said, sorry, what was the hippo doing there? He went, it's a circus.
I've never heard of a circus having a hippo.
What do hippos do?
What can they do? You can't train them, can you?
What do you...
Aren't they, like, very deadly? They're huge, aren't
You
they?
can't have a hippo in a circus.
are you sure?
You're not thinking of Zippo?
He's neither clown.
Yeah. No, and it wasn't some sort of where Zippo was eating a midget, and it's some sort of horrible sexual act.
No, it was definitely. I heard it on breakfast, right?
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, it's definitely fact.
Yeah,
though. It's
okay,
definitely
right,
truth.
okay, good. Well, let's play a record then.
So,
I'd like to play a classic Springsteen. We're all fans of Springsteen there. This might be his debut album, I'm not sure. Greetings from Raspberry Park.
I think it is, yeah.
New Jersey. And this is Growing Up. It's great, it's classic. Springsteen and Growing Up off of, Asbury Park album. Great. They make you feel good, Springsteen, doesn't he?
He's a joy. He's an absolute joy. Rockbusters.
Well,
Rick,
this is what they're all reading and writing about.
Absolutely. Before you get the clues, let me just remind you of the prizes you're playing for. We've got the Manic Street Preachers' Greatest Hits on DVD. We've got the film Human Traffic on DVD. We've got the Best Air Guitar Album 2 on CD. Groove Armada's... Is this their current album?
Yeah.
I guess it's not selling very well. They're still trying to promote that. You can have that as well. If you are a fan of the Ford Fiesta TV ad, of the Vodafone TV adverts, you will love the...
You didn't think you liked indie? Well, you do.
Exactly, and that's got Feeder and Travis and Badly Drawn Boy and all sorts on there. Plus, my own copy, $6.99 it cost me, The Pelican Brief, starring Julia Roberts and Denzel Washington. If you've not seen that, panned and scanned on VHS. So what are the clues?
Do you know what a pelican? I read the other day that has to turn its head upside down to eat.
Give us the clues.
So, Rockbusters.
Well, let me just explain. A bird has a gullet, an esophagus and a gullet. It's all in one thing. It hasn't got peristalsis, which is the movement that we have that can make food. So a bird can only rely on gravity.
Yeah.
So it has to have its head up and has to shake. It can't eat.
You were going to say that, weren't you, Carl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Rockbusters, you mentioned it earlier, one of last week's was, it's a cryptic clue and then some initials. I was in Texas, I fell in a puddle on my knees got wet, WH, wet knee, Houston.
Yeah.
That's the sort of thing we...
Use of the word knee twice there in the cryptic clue and in the final
And the word
answer.
wet, I think you're right.
Yeah, which is wit.
Right.
So fine, good.
So, there's 3 of them. It's email only, ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
Sure.
Load of stuff to win. Here they go. Right, the first one.
I'm writing
Cryptic
these
clue.
down. Go on.
Make a note of them.
The fella has only got one badge left.
The fella has only got one badge left.
Yeah.
What are the initials?
That's just E.
Just E. Oh, just E.
Just E. The fella has only got one badge left.
This is either a solo artist or a band.
Yeah. Second one. The unmarried lady is a friend I eat out with.
Say that again?
The unmarried lady is a friend I eat out with.
The unmarried lady is a friend I eat out with.
Yeah.
What's the initial?
MD.
MD.
MD. And finally, I really love that woman. I love everything she does. That's M. Now,
Give us that one again.
I really love that woman. I love everything she does.
And that's...
M.
Right, now I've got that one.
Right.
Okay.
So,
It's great. That's lovely.
So, yeah.
That's great.
I think the second and third one's quite easy. First one is a killer.
Is it tricky?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. So, ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk, and we pick a winner out at about 1:45 or something like that.
2:45, yeah, absolutely.
No, 2:45. What am I talking about?
2:45.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's dynamite stuff. Well done, Carl.
Excellent.
More educating Ricky next.
Yeah.
Beck, Lost Cause on XFM 104.9. Wow. Carl, we haven't had a lot of emails. They're tough.
I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I've got
You got
one, and I'm struggling with two, but I know one of the words, but I can't think of the band that fits it unless the clue's wrong, and I've got no idea with the first one, E.
Give us them again.
So just give 'em
quickly recap. Number one, the fella has only got one badge left. That's E. Second one, the unmarried lady is a friend he out with. That's MD. And the last one, I really, really love that woman. I love everything she does. That's M.
Well, Ricky, what is it, Ricky?
Ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
So keep those coming in. If there's no winner, we don't know whether to give it to the person who gets the most right first, or have a massive rollover. And, what a Christmas booty that would be, as Carl said. All those... Imagine what you could have... indecent proposal, maybe.
Who knows?
You know what I mean?
I've got some real junk, so I can bring that in.
Yeah. The Mean Machine.
Imagine
with
someone
Vinnie
this
Jones.
Christmas. Yeah, exactly. This Christmas. I can't believe it. Oh, thank you so much for the Pelican brief. I noticed you'd left the price on.
And it's on VHS as well.
Oh, great.
Brilliant.
Yeah, this is a perfect Christmas gift, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. Okay.
about it.
Now,
Some
so
quite
that's going.
mediocre CDs.
That's
The
going.
perfect
That's
Christmas
going
gift.
on. That's a big prize. It's a big weekend prize on XFM. Educating Ricky, part 2. Right. What's the clues
Right,
left?
well, we've got left the headlines. I'll be no buying one of them.
Yeah.
And we've also got chicken. You believe it? Chicken. You believe it? So they're the two that are left. Which one's you going
Right.
for?
Chicken, you believe it, is not that picture, is it? In that we saw.
Which picture?
The bloke with the...
No.
Right,
no.
okay.
God, that was bad.
Right, okay.
Right, so
I was about to explain
We
that.
can't really
but-
discuss this on air, can we?
Well, we can. Steve brought in, Carl, the best book ever, which is, what is it?
I found it when I was moving house. It's an FHM publication, and it's kind of like lots of grotesque pictures and stories, and like the book of a book of freaks and weirdos and.
And Carl opened it, and the first one was like...
At the back, I
At the
started
back.
from the
Well,
back.
you couldn't believe your luck, could you?
What was it? What was number 50?
A bloke with two heads.
And he said, what's number 1?
Yeah.
And then number 6, there's a bloke who's a squid or something.
Octopus.
Yeah. yeah. He's loving it. At number 1, he said, well, it's just a fella under a rock. And I went, oh no, read on, I think I know about this. And it's the fella that was found, he caused a landslide while having sex with a chicken. And they pulled him off, and there he is, the chicken owner.
Right,
So Carl
so-
could not believe his luck. So it's not that.
Chicken. You believe it?
I'll have that one
You're
then.
going for that one?
Yeah.
Right, well, we've talked a lot on the show about,
We've talked a lot on the show.
Yeah.
about animals without heads.
We haven't! We haven't! We talked about cockroaches could live without a head for 7 days.
Yeah, we've talked about that, and then of course there was the well-known one about the fella who had his head cut off, and he
blinked in
he
the-
said
in
to
his
his
head.
mate, "Count how many times I blink when my head comes off."
Yeah,
Was that
as you,
one?
when you told it to me, you said his head came off, and he said, as he said to the basket, he said, quick, count how many times I blink. And it was Nick Frost that had to go, no, Carl, no, he said it before. I went, and that was lovely. So, yeah, we've talked quite a lot about things, heads coming off. Go on then.
Well, this one,
Yeah.
right? Back in 1945,
You looked up the date.
Got a specific date. Wow.
mate Jonathan sent this one. You know him as well, the lad at the BBC, right? He emailed this one in. So thanks for that. Chicken. It's called Mike.
There's a chicken called. Sorry, I missed a bit there. There's a chicken called Mike.
chicken called Mike.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
What happened was, it was living on a farm, right? Loads of chickens knocking about, and the owner of the farm is like, you know, getting ready for tea, and his wife says, "Go out and get a fresh chicken, 'cause my mum's coming round." So he thinks, well, I want to get a good one in, 'cause I want to impress her. 'Cause back then, even then, they wanted to impress the mother-in-law and that. So they said, "All right, I'll just nip out and get one." So he sees Mike, chicken, running around.
Is this during the war or after the war?
1945. I'd say that was after.
No, ended, well...
It ended in 1945.
Yeah,
Okay.
September, go on.
So, chicken's running about, he thinks that one that looks alright, I'll have that one.
Mikey.
So he picks it up, and he cuts his head off,
Oh.
puts it on the block, cuts its head off, runs about a bit, like they do. He thinks it'll stop in a minute. Keeps running about. Oh, what's going on here? Right? He's now, like, chasing the chicken without an head.
Yeah.
He's saying it should die in a minute. Anyway, doesn't die. Chicken's walking around with no head. Lives for 18 months.
Yeah.
Chicken with no head.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Well, I'll tell you, I've heard this story before, Rick, and the explanation, as I understand it, was that certain vital cords, spinal cords, weren't severed when the head came off, so that was why it continued to live.
Yep.
I don't know if that sounds plausible.
It's fine. Absolutely fine. How did it take on protein and energy?
The fella who owned it, he said, well, hang on a minute. He said, I could kill it now.
But I've got a wonder chicken here.
But he's thinking, it must really want to live.
Sure.
Right? If it survived that, they sort of got something here.
Yeah.
So he, what he does, he gets a little, eye droplet thing that he used to use on it. Obviously not anymore. Right? And he filled it with grain and water. And it had a big hole in its neck where its head used to be. And he,
incredibly.
And he dropped.
You know what? I mean, that is possible then. If it, without infection, without infection, if he was taking on things, it is possible, right? Why?
Why what?
Why did he do it? How cruel is that? I mean, that was not cruel because the chicken obviously, He said if he thought it was a bit fed up, he would have killed it. He said, but it was running around quite happy. Well, it wasn't fed up at all because it had no brain.
Well,
what do you mean? Wow.
I'm just saying what
it was nothing. It was just sinew and nerves and electrical impulses breaking down energies. Right. That's all it was. It didn't have a brain. So it was. But I'm worried about the psychology of keeping a pet without a head. I'm worried more about what the farmer was thinking than the chicken.
I tell you this. What the question I'm asking is, was the mother-in-law impressed? I mean, that's why he set out. That's why he set out to chop Mike's head off.
This is lovely, but it's just the head where you don't kill a chicken like that all at once.
I thought we were having chicken for dinner. Come and look at this, running around the yard.
Yeah. Oh dear.
So, there you go. You've learnt something there.
Yeah, I have learnt something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. One more.
That farmer, I've learnt that farmer was very strange indeed.
There you go.
I have to say, to be fair to Karl, I have a feeling like when I read it, the reason he kept it alive was as a novelty. He got charged people to come and see the incredible headless chicken called Mike.
Right.
So, here we are.
That's great.
So, tune, Steve?
A tune, yeah. I just thought I'd like to hear a little bit more from that NERD album. We played some of this from then when it first came out many moons ago. Since then, it's gone on, it's won awards, all sorts. And obviously, NERD now, Nerd, as they're sometimes known, kind of big producers. They're producing Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, all kinds of people. But this is a track from their album.
I've heard they're wicked.
They are indeed. And this is called Things Are Getting Better. NERD. From their album In Search Of, and that's Things Are Getting Better. After the break, we got more Educating Ricky and the results to this week's Rockbusters.
And Richard Ashcroft.
Oh, dynamite.
Richard Ashcroft. Check the Meaning on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais with me, Steve Merchant. Karl just remembered a little story he was excited to tell you.
Okay.
Go on.
Oh, are you going to tell him?
Oh, okay. When we went into this cafe last week after Karl had got his soil, we got 2 big bags of soil. I was going, get a bag for me. And he was an I can walk home. After about 10 yards, he was going, oh, my arms hurt. So he had to get a cab. So we stopped in this cafe, he had spaghetti bolognese. You were loving it, weren't you?
It was good, it was a good little day out.
And there was a woman that worked there, and she sort of, I could see her sort of looking at me. And she said, and then she came over and said, are you off the telly? And I went, yeah. She went, yeah, Chris Moyles.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
And I just laughed, and we both started laughing. She went, no, sorry, I don't know, I'm not, Chris, what's your name? And I went, and I had to say it, I went, Ricky Gervais. She went, oh, no. She went, oh, the thing in the office. I went, yeah.
No, the funny thing was, she went and said,
oh, no, I saw you on
Jonathan Ross.
Jonathan Ross, that's it, yeah.
So she'd obviously watched the Jonathan Ross show thinking, Chris Moyles has, lost his looks a bit or whatever. That's what I found funny, the fact that she must have watched it thinking that...
Yeah, she went, no, I saw you the other day, and I was like, yeah, she went, oh, and then we were still sort of laughing, I was thinking, she went, oh, sorry to be back, I was going, no, it's fine, I was thinking, imagine that, just like,
God.
Great, there's not a better one to pick.
That's just appalling.
Oh, that was lovely. It's the second time as well.
That you've been mistaken for Chris Moyles?
Yeah.
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 Oh man, you've got
Yeah,
to feel bad about that.
I've had Moyles, I've had, Vegas a few
Johnny
times.
Vegas, yeah, I can imagine.
So,
Do you
yeah.
think, like, people are going up to Moyles going, you do that thing about working in an office?
Yeah, well, dunno. I don't know whether I hope that or not.
I don't know, it depends what he answers.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah.
I thought you were gonna say that, are you Chris Moores? No, what's your name, Ricky Gervais? Never heard of you. That'd have been brilliant.
So, yeah, okay, right. Educating Ricky, number 3.
Ricky, yes,
Well, we've got the emails in.
Yeah,
we
people
have
are they're finally trickling in. I think people are getting them.
People have got the full 3 right, but I mean, it's still worth emailing in because we never know who we're going to pick as a winner.
I'll tell you what, we've still got 50 minutes before we give the prize out, so let's give them again. Just give us a quick
All right,
run there, because I think
finally.
these are tantalising. They really are.
Yeah. So the first one, the fella has only got 1 badge left.
Yeah.
That's E. The second one, the unmarried lady is a friend to eat out with. MD. And the third one, I really, really love that woman. I love everything she does. That's M.
Excellent.
Ricky.gervais at xfm.co.uk. You can win all kinds of prizes.
Educating Ricky,
Right,
number 3.
final one. You've had hippopotamus.
Loved
You had chicken. You believe it? And the last
couldn't.
one is I'll be no buying one of them.
I love that one.
All right. Interesting one. This. I mean, I spent probably 3 days looking for this stuff. Right. And another one that I came across, right, and I was going to use. I was a bit like,
great life you've got.
I was just, going on the internet and that, and I also look in magazines, found a story about a bloke who, I don't know, he was messing about with a chainsaw and
I don't know, he's messing about with the chainsaw. He was juggling a midget, and, whilst taking his alligator for a walk, and, go on.
and his arm, come off, right?
Come off! What do you mean his arm come off?
The chainsaw took it off.
Yeah,
So it was
okay.
like, oh.
Again,
Anyway,
He's going, oh no!
Oh.
so, there's a picture of him on an exercise bike, sort of just with a little stump sort of balancing, but he's getting on with his life, he's happy and everything's fine, he's not complaining, it's his own fault, he's got no one to blame, right? So anyway, he goes to the doctors, and the doctor says, I can do something there. So he goes, well, it's alright, I'm getting by alright, don't worry about it. And he goes, no, we've got an arm in, right? We can attach that, a real arm, from someone who's, I think they'd passed away or lost an arm or something. And,
They lost an arm and didn't want it back.
Yeah, he went, I love it. Are you using that? No, because I know someone.
Because I know a bloke, actually.
Yeah. Well, can't you just put this one back on? Well, it's first come, first serve, really.
I was just building a bionic man. We've replaced one arm with a robot's arm, so we got a spare one.
so the doctor's going, let me put it on. He's like, well, alright then. So they do-
Ungrateful bastard.
So he does the operation, right? Everything's fine. He's loving it. He's happy again because he said he can brush his teeth.
Right, okay, if this is gonna be
He's
something
loving
like...
it again because now he can brush his teeth.
Right, if this is gonna be, and it was a leg, or
No.
it was a chimp's arm,
Or it was the arm of a killer.
It was 2 left arms, right? I'm going to kill you.
Oh, let's leave it then.
What is it? What's the answer?
No, it's not that. I'm just.
What
asking.
is, okay,
Right. So he says, go on and do it. So he sews it on, and like I say, he's happy. He's brushing his teeth. He can have a pint in the pub. He's lifting a pint with it. All his mates are happy for him. It goes on for about 2 years. Everything's fine. Then it all starts going flaky.
Oh, I knew it would.
Was it made of chocolate?
All right. So it all goes all like gammy, and then for some
The
reason
arm starts going gammy.
it goes gammy, and it gets longer.
Of course it does.
So there's a picture of him, right, stood in the magazine. He's stood there with his arms by his side. One arm's normal. The other one is like past his knees. It's he can pull his socks up without bending over.
So
It's
is this going to
really-
be they gave him the arm of an 8-year-old child who would have been the tallest man in the world?
No, he just said, oh, what am I going to do? And the doctor said, oh, there's not much we can do. And left it.
What?
Wait a minute, you can't
That's
leave
not
it
a
there.
story.
So, Carl,
That's
what?
not
You've
a
got to
story.
tell us the explanation.
Was
Was it an incredible plastic arm? An incredible expanding arm? Did he fight crime later?
No.
Well, that's the end of the story. You've got no scientific explanation as to why.
That's why I didn't pick it.
But you just told it to us anyway.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the sort of knowledge I come over when I'm looking for the good knowledge. Yeah?
So that
Why did
hasn't
his
even
arm
made the
grow?
list.
Why did this arm grow? He must have had an adult arm. They couldn't have given him an arm.
I don't know. It's just one of them.
It's rubbish again,
It's
isn't
not.
it?
Well, I don't. It's an interesting story, but you should
It's
have
not, and it's rubbish.
But you
It
should have
didn't
read to
happen.
the end. There was photos.
Yeah.
But you should have read to the end of the article, Carl.
No, I did. And he said, you know, he's not happy and he wishes he wouldn't have had it done and all that, and, you know.
You sure this wasn't entirely unexpected?
No, seriously, he was saying, you know, his teeth are nice and clean again because he could brush them and that, but his arm's getting in the way. Ruining his shirts and everything. So I'll leave that.
Let's play a tune. Let's come back with the next one, because I love the fact that this is like Ronnie Corbett telling one of his jokes. That's Ronnie's. That wasn't even the story. He was going to tell us.
Play a record. Oh, God. That's alright, isn't it? Travis. Level come through. Quite like that. On XFM 104.9. Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, and Karl Pilkington. In the chair. We've had the answers in. It's Rockbusters. It's the results. Carl, give us the winning answers.
Right, Steve, you search for a winner.
I will.
At random. We can slip into that. So, the first one was, the fella's only got one badge left.
I have no idea.
The initial was E.
Go on.
Will I give out the answer now,
Yeah,
Steve?
give the answer, yeah.
I think you should.
That was his last sticker. Yeah?
Elastica, the band Elastica. I'm
Right,
not
doesn't
sure.
work.
No.
Doesn't work.
The word sticker and and a badge are not interchangeable.
And it's not his last sticker, it's Elastica.
Yeah, but, like, his last sticker. So, someone's got it.
Oh! So say a different word and it works. Oh, so if the band is Elastica, then it works. God, if only Justin would have named it if she'd have just gone, let's call it Islastica, then we'd have, yeah.
Second one.
What was the clue?
The unmarried lady is a friend he eat out with.
Go on.
That's Miss Dinamite.
Miss Dynamite.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, but it's been running for 4 weeks. We've done the obvious ones.
Doesn't work. Doesn't work.
Miss Dinamite.
Again, if she'd have called herself Miss Dinamite, it would work. She didn't. See, what's happening is pop stars are letting you down by naming themselves incorrectly for your clues. Those don't work. They don't count.
And the last one, I really, really love that woman. I love everything she does. That was M.
Yeah.
That was Madonna.
Yeah, Madonna. I'm gonna give you that. That work. Yeah. Right. That's the end of that feature until you can get ones that work. Okay. So you won't hear any more of that because it's rubbish. You're running out already. Sorry. Do you just think of the first three things that come in your mind and make them fit? Just think of 3 bands and make a clue, and if it fits, it fits. If it doesn't, it doesn't matter.
I just went through again.
Rubbish. It was rubbish.
Whatever.
Right, play a record.
Hang on, we've got a winner.
We have. Actually, you say all this, Rick, but lots of people got them right. Which
Yeah. So
I don't know what that proves, really. I don't know if that says, you know, you're the tosser or
Or
they
they're
are.
as stupid as Carl?
One or the other.
Okay.
But I'm going to give it to Simon and Daisy in Hitchin. They got the right answers, and well done to them. They get the Pelican Brief and some other treats.
Serves you right.
I look forward to
Serves
that.
you right for understanding Carl. Suede's new one. Obsessions. On XFM 104.9. Well, I'm Ricky Gervais, obviously, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington. Well, Carl, that's about it, and we got sidetracked on the last Educating Ricky. You telling me about a man whose arm grew.
well, something went wrong. I'm not saying it grew. Just saying.
What? The rest of him shrunk?
It went long.
It went long. What, is that growing there? What do you mean it went long? Did it grow, or what, did it come loose?
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, so it was hanging by a thread that's made it look long?
Yeah.
Within the skin?
It's like how you can stretch a pair of tights if something is too heavy. Or
Arms are very much like tights. They are very much
so the
like
one,
tights.
the one that we didn't get round to on Educating
Yeah.
Ricky was I'll be no buying one of them.
Go on.
Are you familiar with the saying white elephant?
Something is a white elephant. Yeah, I don't think so.
Hold on. You phoned me last night and said, what does white elephant mean? And I told you.
Yeah, I know, but I know where it came from, but I just was wondering what it was about.
So how, in what way is Educating Ricky you calling me up and asking me something?
Well, do you know how it came about?
You've given away some of the secrets of the show there, it would appear. I didn't realise he was phoning you for information.
Well, he just asked me what the term white elephant meant in sort of like colloquial.
Did he say, why are you interested, Carl? No reason.
No, go on.
Well, what it is, ages ago when...
So what do we understand white elephant to mean?
Well, some of that's useless, that's like a bit of a, you know, something that you wouldn't want around that's just stood there doing nothing.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Carl.
So years ago, when people used to use elephants
Years ago, go on.
When people used to use elephants?
Yeah, more than they do now.
Right.
More than they do now!
This doesn't involve a midget, does it?
No. So, you know, they'd use them in the workplace and stuff.
Sure.
Sort of-
Yeah, as factories.
sort of,
Yeah.
To move stuff
Tea
around
ladies.
and that.
Yeah, security guards.
Yeah. Can't trust them with the buns, though. That's why they stopped using them.
Oh,
Right.
God, go on.
So there was loads of elephants knocking about, and the thing is, right,
You couldn't move from.
if you have a lot of something,
Uh-huh.
you also have a lot of demic ones, don't you?
A lot of what?
You know, sort of demicky ones that aren't right, really.
Demicky.
Well, you know, like, they weren't properly. They weren't...
They weren't properly. Sorry,
demicky or
what, Carl? What are you doing?
Right, I'm getting to the story. So what I'm telling you is...
They were a bit demicky, so they weren't
Basically,
properly.
what-
Have you started making words up?
Right.
Yeah, you Stanley Unwin.
Listen.
Reincarnated.
Demicky?
Yeah.
There was a lot of albino elephants knocking about.
Where? Where is this?
Olden times.
Africa.
Yes! Should we say Africa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If an answer's got a question mark at the end, I'm not
Well,
sure
it's
an
either
answer.
Africa or India, but I'll give you a clue. Well, these elephants, do they have big ears or little ears?
I didn't sort of notice the size of the elephants. What I noticed is they were white because they were albino elephants.
Okay.
Right? So, that's why they're heading, I'll be null buying one of them.
Okay.
No, right.
So, what would happen is people who didn't know what they were doing, like, you know, you get people making a mistake buying cars that are full of problems and that. Back
Yeah.
then when people were buying elephants, they'd go up to someone and say, I'm after an elephant, and the fellow would say, yeah, I've got one here for you, this is a nice one. And it was all white and stuff, and it had, like, blue eyes.
You should never trust a used elephant salesman.
It was just this elephant that's white with blue eyes.
Right,
This is great.
So,
Yeah.
a fellow who didn't know what he was doing would buy the elephant, and he'd get it back, and it'd be all sort of lazy and stuff,
Oh,
and
the
what
worst
we're doing and
kind, yeah.
stuff. And he'd say, what's up with this? And his mate, who's a bit of an expert with elephants, and go, oh, where have you bought that from? And he'd say, oh, I got it off that fella, and he goes, oh...
All this embellishing nonsense in terms of the story.
You shouldn't have bought that. So he goes, why? And he says, it's only albino, innit? And he's like, what does that mean? And he said, oh, it gets tired. It's not that good at doing work and that. You shouldn't
It
have bought
steals
it.
from you.
But elephants back then were like a god. You know what I mean?
Right.
You couldn't say, oh, I'm sick of this, then I'm going to abandon it or anything, because elephants were seen as like pretty high up on the chain of things. So they'd end up being stuck with an elephant, that's an albino,
Yeah.
couldn't do much, gets tired, basically gets in the way. So they said, that's where they're saying, like, you know, but a bit of a white elephant there.
What do you reckon, Rick?
I feel like I haven't been educated. I feel like I've lost something. So at that time in my life I can never get back. I feel like I've sort of been soiled, and I don't know where to start. I'm angry. Do you know what I mean? I'm angry.
Sure, yeah, I can see that.
And all that rubbish around. Look at his little face.
Well-
What was that? All that shit about a second-hand elephant salesman and his mate knew about elephants. What is it? What are they had blue eyes. What are you?
Well, there you go.
Albinos have red eyes for a start.
Oh, that's it, we've run out of time.
Oh,
again.
what? I mean, what are you going to do about this next week? Are you going to actually do some educating next week? And what about Rockbusters? Are you going to make the clues proper cryptic clues?
Well, that's the teaser, isn't it? That's what we'll leave them with.
Will it be any good next week? Tune in and find out on XFM 104.9.